Welcome to the AI Ireland podcast, your window into the world of AI innovation on the island of Ireland. Join us as we explore how AI is harnessed to tackle both business and societal challenges, revealing the cutting-edge solutions emerging from this vibrant AI community. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates and insights in the world of AI.
Hello everyone, it's Mark Kelly and you're listening to the AI Ireland podcast, and today we're at 21 Kildare Street, Dublin 2, and we've got the pleasure of speaking to Minister for Trade, Promotion, Digital and Company Regulation, Dara Calleary. Dara from the Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment. Dara, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Great to be with you, Mark. This is taking a while to put together, so from our part of view, so thank you for your patience and looking forward to our chat.
Given the rapid advancement in AI technologies, how is the government ensuring that policies and regulations keep pace, specifically in terms of fostering innovation while protecting consumers?
So, look, there's we have a huge amount of stuff going on. I think you go back to September 2021, we put the National AI Strategy in place. My predecessor, Robert Troy, and the team here put that in place at a time when people probably weren't really engaged in AI, maybe to the way they are now. That put the building blocks in place. Placed an emphasis that we needed a trust-centered AI, one that served people. And then from that, in April 22, the expert group on future skills needs published their analysis of what we needed skills-wise. I took up office at the end of August 22, and since then it's just been, the pace of change has been incredible. ChatGPT came along, and I think ChatGPT just blew open public consciousness of AI and the public interest in it broader than what had been. Simultaneously, the EU worked on the AI Act, and I think we need to step back. EU legislation making process can be very long. It can be quite arduous. This was done in record time. And now we are at a situation where we have the Act. We in Ireland are in the middle of a consultation process, so we'd encourage your listeners to engage with that process on what the AI Act implementation should look like in Ireland. We want people to have a stake in that and have a role in that. And they can get all the details on the DETI website or through our social media channels. And our team are beginning the work here, or well into the work here rather, of what the legislation is going to look like. That's going to be a priority. I know people don't like regulation, but without regulation it becomes the Wild West. And I think what we have done here is we've got a balance between regulation and innovation. And innovation is something I'm really focused on, that we will have in Ireland an innovative culture. That's why the groups like CEDAR and our digital innovation hubs, or EDIHs around the country, are also so important. And then one area that concerns me particularly, and we're going to be focusing on that a lot now, is small business and medium-sized business. I think large business will adopt AI. They have the budgets, they have the wherewithal to do it. We want small business to do that too, and to be ready for it, to be ready for the opportunities, but to be ready for the challenges. So that's a conversation we're going to kick off over the next few weeks.
And when we go into a little bit more detail on that, so what initiatives or supports are currently in place or planned to encourage the growth of AI startups? And when you think about that from the kind of the wider ecosystem, and is there any particular sectors you're most interested in, or you feel is more tune that we should develop more?
I think back in May I did a super event out in CEDAR. We launched the AI Accelerator program. I had to see the companies that day. It was a really fantastic event. The team there had some really good companies that were pitching, got a flavour of them, a lot of healthcare stuff. Really interesting, really exciting stuff going on in healthcare. But I'm worried if we go into particular sectors, people say AI doesn't affect me or doesn't affect my sector. Let's be very clear, AI is going to affect every single part of life. And I actually think it's a good thing, but we need to start talking about it. So we have 12 companies on the Accelerator program in CEDAR. Enterprise Ireland are one of the biggest venture capital companies, investors in Europe now. So they're constantly working with client companies. We're meeting them at job announcements, we're meeting them at the AI Startup Day in Dublin Castle there a few weeks back. The buzz in the room is phenomenal. The energy in the room and meeting some of the companies is absolutely phenomenal. We also made changes in last year's budget in around angel investors to try and encourage an opening up of the investment community and opening up of in opportunities for startups to pitch for investment. And I'm meeting Scale Ireland again in the coming weeks about this year's budget to see what we need to do so that we have the ideas, but we need the finance and we need to match the two. I think what we also need to do is have a chat about skills. We as I said at the outset, we did the future group and the next group on future skills needs reported in April 22, but things are very different in June 24. So we're going to update that and look at the skills, and Minister Burke, Mr. Patrick O'Donovan and myself will be working in that space. So there's really good stuff going on. I think the other thing is the Disruptive Technologies Fund. We have that in place for some time now, and there's €365 million available. Half of that so far has been allocated to projects within the AI element. So we're here to help projects. We just want to get them through the system.
And with so many people not necessarily understanding the rate of change and the impact that's having to jobs and skill base, what type of plans have you got to improve people's skills and the ability to pick up these lifelong skills?
Look, we're pretty strong skills-wise as we are, so let's build on that. Within the National Digital Strategy, we've 3 pillars. We've high-level skills for the labour market, and then digital skills for society. They all align, and it's all very much part of the focus that I'm keen that, yes, skills are a labour function, but digital is community, digital is society, and it's going to change. We upping our offering of courses throughout the network. We're working very closely with SkillNets in that space, and we have a target in 2018 that we'd have over 12,400 graduates, apprentices, and trainees. We've met that target this year. We're continuing to increase it, but I want to make sure the skills are relevant. I want to make sure that those offerings at third level, in particular at apprenticeship level, are designed in a way that keep pace with the way things are changing. If you had done an AI degree in 2021, it might be very different now, so we need to be very focused on that, and we're working closely with SkillNets on that too.
And we look at it from the government view of AI as shaping Ireland's trade relationships. So is there any specific strategies to promote Ireland maybe as a leader in ethical AI, or how do you kind of approach to try to differentiate from the UK, from France, Poland? What's the kind of thought process?
I think there's a couple of things. I'm struck when I travel that when I say that we've had a national AI strategy in place since 2021, people stand and look, wow, that long. When I say we've had a skills strategy in place since 2022 and that we're updating it, when I say that strategy in terms of our national AI strategy is built on trust, it's built on public interest. And that we have been very involved, the team here have been very involved with our colleagues in DEC in the negotiations around the EU AI Act. We've led out on that. We've just completed our chair of the G9, and we put digital and we put AI at the heart of that. So we're putting all the building blocks in place. Clearly we have an ecosystem here through, as we're host to all of the major multinationals, and I find they have been really helpful to us in terms of us navigating our way. The AI Advisory Council, that really catches interest internationally when you travel, that we have the confidence to say, all right, we don't have all the answers, we don't know everything, we need expertise, and we've got this fantastic group of people, all of whom have an Irish interest, but who are global experts in AI, and that really is important as well. As I said, Enterprise Ireland, not only in terms of investment capital, but in terms of representing Ireland abroad and having opportunities for Irish companies abroad, have enormous opportunities for small startup AI companies in the digital space as well, to bring that service abroad. So I think it's a multifaceted international response. Our trade policy is based on a number of things in terms of trust, in terms of integrity, as is our digital policy.
One of the challenges when you're trying to enforce regulation is this is moving so quickly, and you're trying to get the balance between data privacy, innovation, and that delicate dance. For the EU AI Act, a lot of kind of risk mitigation and really kind of keeping that privacy by design, human-centric approach. From an Irish perspective, how do we get that right, where we want to balance the innovation and seen as that leader, but also keeping that privacy by design?
Absolutely. I mean, data is the foundation of AI, and like what goes into any AI model is based on data. So GDPR still applies to data, and that's important to remember. There is that protection there. And we're implementing the Data Act, which is going to be very clear on what rights to access are, what rights to use the data, in terms of sharing that data. So I think we have a good balance between the two things, but I'm constantly open to looking at it. I want to make sure we have innovation in Ireland and in Europe. I think that's really important. But the most important thing about our approach to AI in this country is public trust. Public trust has to be maintained, and public trust has to be protected. If you don't have public trust, you want a public acceptance, and any amount of innovation that doesn't have public acceptance will be hampered.
If we think about the public sector, is there any use cases of applied AI that are coming out that you're particularly proud of or building out that we think can be helping people to be more productive and providing better customer experience?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. So I work closely with Mr. Oisin Smith. He's over in the Department of Public Expenditure in digital public services space. There's lots happening in health in particular. There's some really good projects in the radiology department in the Matter, which is worth looking at in terms of the podcast. What I would say to people is that they're using AI in public services. They probably may not know it. If you see a chatbot on a public service, it's AI. We have to make sure we obviously have a higher level of integrity in terms of how we use that. That we protect our citizens' data. I'd like to see it be used in screening, in every public service. Anything that requires masses of paper, that can be AI done. But it's really important. There are some people who will not use digital for lots of reasons. Trust, maybe it's just not experienced, and their use of public service cannot be hampered or cannot be damaged. They should have the same quality public service as somebody who uses digital public service, and that's really important for me.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very important for the digital dexterity for everyone, and to have that as the foundation. When you've got people that are kind of digitally native coming in, who maybe book an Uber taxi come through, they make their purchases on Zalando or Amazon or use Netflix, and then they come into an environment that is archaic, it can be very challenging to engage that audience. So from a vision perspective for AI in Ireland, how do you see that playing out, or how do you hope it will play out?
Vision is digital, and I see digital as offering a better enterprise culture, a better public service culture. But those that are digital natives need to understand that many people aren't, and you've got to bring people with you on that journey. Just because we are used to it, we are comfortable with it, you've got to bring people with you. So understand that firstly. Secondly, I get very enthused every year when I go down to the Young Scientists. I see products, services, ideas, projects that are AI enabled from people in their early to mid-teens, and I love the way they're thinking about how we can apply AI to common problems and to challenging problems. That really enthuses me. As I mentioned earlier, when I went out to Cedar back in May, those 12 startups in the AI Accelerator, they're doing really extraordinary things. I visited some of our multinational manufacturing. They're using AI for new manufacturing, and they're using it in a way that hasn't impacted on labour. So they're not replacing jobs with AI, they're enhancing. So, but we also have to be very aware, and we've published the reports this week in relation to AI in the labour market. We have to be very aware that there will be disruption. This isn't going to be plain sailing, and we can't hide away from that discussion either. But I think if we can assure people that we're planning for that disruption, that we will reskill, reprofile, we make the kind of investments that I mentioned in the Disruptive Technologies Fund, trying to create the encouraging startup community in terms of angel investors, and that we make further changes there. I think the future is positive for Ireland and AI, and the future is positive for Ireland and digital, and I want to keep it that way.
Mr. Dara Calleary, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
On the 26th of November, join us for the 6th Annual AI Awards at the Marco Hotel in Dublin. This year's event promises to be our largest and most impressive yet, with over 300 community members in attendance and over 48 applications of AI in action. This truly is an incredible world-class event, and we are inviting you to this event. Experience the excitement live, because we're going to be capturing this with a world-class film crew, and it's going to be streamed online. However, if you want to join us in person, book your table now, because opportunities are limited. If you're interested in sponsoring this year's awards, please contact me at Mark@AI Awards for more information and see the best in class of AI applications on the island of Ireland.